Okay. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Day number 2. Today, last time I said it would be nice if we had a plan or more research, and it would be nice indeed. But I'll try as much as possible this time to focus on actual implementation. Or just starting with the design. We learned last time that we would have to develop more or less 2 apps, maybe 4 if we do go with the platform native alternative. If we don't and we build cross-platform, then in fact هنبني 2 apps. Of course, the main, or not the main, but the critical one to design. Well, both are critical, but let's say the one to be sure looks nice most is the customer one, مش ال service provider one, because this is what most people would be accessing, most people would be using. So let us begin. Let's come up with, okay. Let's have a new tab and just ask straight up. So let's for now assume cross-platform. Let's do this, in fact. You made and I so this is something I like to do, which is at a given point in a discussion, just to let I'll actually instruct the AI to summarize the key points so that this can be later used for the project itself. We have people watching on YouTube, not sure who. Okay, فهد. Welcome home يا فهد. الحمد لله على سلامتك. Prepare an AI friendly summary. Can be used globally in the project. Globally. An app. We're building an app. بس يعني still not clear. Okay, I think it's almost done. synthesizing blah 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 means it's nearly done, and here it is. So today in designing the interface we wish to look at the competitors' apps and go through them. So it would be really nice to check similar designs. Okay. Let's go back to the checklist. Let's add that to the project. And let's go to the context and add this to the project as well. That's a cool idea. يعني there's only one reason I want to do it a little bit more manually, which is that يعني eventually if this goes live and becomes a real يعني application with a lot of users, I won't personally be able to maintain it. Then I'm gonna hand it over to someone, maybe a company or maybe an employee or something. If that's the case, then it's better if I understand everything in the design and everything in the technical details. I may eventually يعني use Claude Code to develop some certain things, but for now I want to keep it a little bit more manual. Also, it's a chance to learn and show the beautiful viewers, which are my friends, how an app can be implemented. طيب. Cool. So this is added to the project. Now let's go back to the project. Given the context, the project, and you don't have to do this, but we really want to emphasize this at this point. The context. What tools would I need now to start designing and implementing the cross-platform implementation. This is gonna be يعني general at first, and we wanna then start to be more exhaustive. يعني eventually we will need tools that we cannot just simply install. I'm talking tools مثلا like email system, mailing system authentication system for users. So these things we will have to decide what we do with them. Something else we may be interested in is which cloud service to use. يعني at this point I would have said مثلا GCP, but GCP does not really have a region or server, a zone in Egypt, and so that's an issue because even if it happens later, at this point we cannot develop with that assumption because of the PDPL, the Private Data Protection Law, I think is the summary for that. It's fine. So perhaps Amazon. This is another question we can just go ahead and ask, and this is something we will do soon. In fact, يلا بينا, let's do it. Given context, which cloud platform would you go for? For the what would you go for? So it's gonna be the back end. The would you select? Let me just say that. We have some chat. It seems like AI though. Okay, which would you select for the backend? Um, think of the services and tools that are needed, plus the governance, compliance, in fact, compliance to recommend one. Okay, let's go back to the other discussion. Companion to status tags used throughout, confirmed, recommended, pending, open, unresolved. Okay, this is a pretty long document. Okay, let's start reading. We want to go quickly through this. I don't know why it made a checklist. I would have preferred not a checklist, but we can actually do that. In fact, let's go back to this discussion first. I think it would be better. So it's swaying AWS versus GCP, but I think it's not gonna go pretty far because of the fact that GCP just doesn't have a region. Okay, let it have its time. Someone's in the chat and they're pretending not to be AI. I would have hoped not to have a discussion with some other AI today. I'm only talking to Claude for now. Okay, two decision gates that determine the rest of the list. Cross-platform, React Native versus Flutter. Working recommendation, React Native plus Expo, mainly for MVP speed. Managed builds, OTA updates, less native toolchain friction. Flutter is an equally valid choice, often cited for tighter UI consistency across platforms. Either works, this just affects which tools below apply. Okay. Backend, either Firebase versus Supabase. This is unresolved at this point. Firebase is the recommendation if you go React Native. Slightly tighter ecosystem fit for authentication, Firestore, FCM, Crashlytics, Analytics, all under one roof. Supabase is the better pick if you'd rather have Postgres plus SQL from day one. Okay. Design. Okay, UI design, prototyping, developer handoff. Free tier is enough to start. Use this for both the customer app and the provider app. Two related but distinct flows. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So we need to plan for both Arabic and English. So this wouldn't normally make a difference if it was, for example, English or French. Say a French app that also wants to have English support. But since this is Arabic and it's read right to left, this makes a big difference in your design. But it changes how you structure components. Worth deciding now rather than after build. Whimsical or micro for user flow journey mapping before pixels. Useful given this is a two-sided marketplace with two separate apps to keep in sync conceptually. Okay. So Figma, and we need to plan for Arabic plus English. We need Git and some Git tool. Mac. It keeps saying non-negotiable for some reason. Xcode only runs on macOS. Cloud build services below can reduce how often you personally need one, but you can't fully avoid it for App Store submission steps. Fine. We need Xcode for iOS emulator, Android Studio plus Android emulator, and the subscriptions they mentioned, and VS Code, or your preferred IDE. Okay. Framework specific tooling. If React Native, we need Node.js npm/yarn/pnpm. I don't know any of these. I just know Node.js, Expo CLI. Okay, I think at this point maybe a good idea to check the other discussion. Okay, that's not good. None of the three major hyperscalers run a full cloud region inside Egypt yet. Wow. So everyone in Egypt just uses their own like hardware and everything. AWS has only a cloud front edge / CDN location in Cairo, useful for content delivery. Yeah. Azure has no Egypt region either. GCP's nearest region are Doha, Qatar, and Dammam. That's right. So, yeah. So it's not about latency. I don't think people in Egypt would have high latency to the GCP regions, but PDPL essentially means we can't do much. Wow. I'm a little surprised. I thought GCP was behind in this on this. It seems they're all not in Egypt. That's very strange because if you think about it, this is um, this definitely is essentially a huge market that is locked. Okay, so let's then ask it. So what would you do? Okay, it says it would still implement it with cloud. The thing I'm not quite getting is how can it get away with compliance, or how can it get away with using cloud while being compliant? So it says AWS Bahrain region with outposts or local colo carved out for sensitive data. Already justified sticking with it. Okay, and for the backend, I think it misunderstood the question. It thought I was asking which cloud. Okay, so it seems to have misunderstood my question. It thought I'm asking if it were to implement it on cloud, which platform would it use? But that's not what I was asking. So it says, yes, still cloud. At your stage, running your own servers buys you nothing but ops headcount. You don't have. That's true. What I'd actually build: single AWS account, Bahrain region as the home base, one well-built backend, not microservices. You don't have the scale or team to justify the complexity yet. For compute, ECS Fargate, containers, no servers to patch. So ECS Fargate, running one backend service, skip Lambda for everything. So I know Lambda is like similar to Google Lambda functions, I think, which are essentially like little microservices. Okay, skip Lambda for everything, fine for webhooks / notifications, bad fit for a stateful matching / chat system with cold start issues. Okay. Database, it recommends RDS Postgres, Aurora if you want it later. One source of truth, not a NoSQL grab bag. Authentication is incognito. Files S3. Push notifications using SNS / pinpoint for both apps. Provider matching / geo. Amazon location service. Async jobs. SQS. The one split that matters: ID documents and exact home addresses go in a separate feed level encrypted store physically kept in country. AWS Outposts or a local colo partner. I don't know what a local colo partner is. I need to look that up. In fact, why don't I just do it now? Okay, we can just ask Claude itself. Co-location partner is a data center provider where you rent physical space, power, cooling, and network connectivity to house your own servers, as opposed to renting compute from a cloud provider or running servers in your own office. Okay, so it essentially says only for that piece of information, use a local server hosted by a local provider, rather than hosting it yourself. I wonder why not host it myself. So is it for the same reason? Because this data is not going to be a huge amount of data. I'm not sure if it's easier or simpler to host it myself in a tiny server that we have locally, or to use one of these. I'm sure it's not just about storage, so I'm sure these providers provide security, they provide maybe redundancy. I'm not really sure, so I'm not sure what they provide, but for sure they would give much more than if I were to implement it myself. But it comes down to how complex and how expensive it is to work with something like this. But I think we're thinking a bit too far ahead. We don't really have to care about whether we. So I mean, we do, but it's not that critical to decide now. Why it might matter for AI Khidma specifically, the data residency for PDPL, latency, and some local payment aggregators of banks prefer working with infrastructure that's provably in country. For your stage, pre-launch MVP, this is unlikely to be a near-term need. Yes, Firebase / Supabase cloud hosted, likely outside Egypt, is fine initially. It becomes relevant only if PDPL enforcement or a payment partner's compliance requirements force a data residency conversation later. Worth flagging as a future, not current checklist item. I don't think November 2026 is that far away. It's only 5 months away. So there's no point at all um, um, building something against this law for now, even if it's not enforced yet. Because you just have to change it as soon as we go live. Okay. Okay, so it says the only split that matters is that ID and essentially sensitive information is going to be kept in a local colo. Everything else, bookings, reviews, blah blah blah, lives in Bahrain. This isn't architectural purity, it's the cheapest way to make the PDPL cross-border question a non-issue for the data category, where getting it wrong is most expensive, without forcing your whole stack to live on an immature in-country infra. I agree with that. I wonder why Bahrain are not Dammam though. Uh, I think Bahrain is the more mature region, but I know Dammam is quite new. Not sure how new is Bahrain. Regardless, we will have to discuss. Resilience. Multi-AZ within Bahrain. It has 3. Oh, okay. So multi-AZ within Bahrain is enough now. Skip multi-region active. That's solving a problem that you don't have yet and adds real cost / complexity. Just take cross-region backup snapshots, TUAE, for disaster recovery, not live failover. Okay. Skip Firebase / Supabase as the system of record. Great for a weekend prototype. Bad fit once you need the data residency split above. They don't give you per data type location control without real engineering effort. So you'd be fighting the tool instead of using it. This is boring on purpose. It's the setup that's cheapest to run, easiest to hire Egyptian engineers for, and doesn't bet your compliance posture on an adequacy ruling that doesn't exist yet. Okay. Quick, or let's say, why and not the not another. Oh, this is not GCP. This is all AWS. AWS. Um, short answer. So around since 2019, which is actually great for a cloud region. Okay, so it's just what I was thinking. Bahrain is the mature region. Okay. Um, this brief design sounds good. Let us or let's say create an MD file that so I really don't want to have checklists, no checklist, not a checklist that covers this. Self-hosting is off the table at this stage. It trades a manageable cloud bill for ops headcount the team doesn't have yet. Firebase blah blah or earlier default for MVP speed, but do not write the right system of record here for one specific reason. Data residency needs to be set per data type, not per product. ID documents and exact home addresses need different handling than bookings. That's right. Platform AWS Bahrain region ME South 1 as the home base. Why AWS? Broadest service catalog in the Gulf, most mature regional presence, and clear in-country option. Okay. Why Bahrain over UAE, Qatar, or Saudi? We know that. I wish it didn't include that. It's just useless information for the product moving forward. For the AI, especially. Core architecture. One well-built backend, not microservices. The team and scale don't justify that complexity yet. So API business logic is gonna be ECS Fargate, containers, no service to patch, Refit and Lambda, database, RDS, Postgres, Aurora ready later, one source of truth, not a NoSQL grab bag. Auth Cognito, shared across the customer and provider apps, S3 for file storage, push notifications, provider, gonna be using SNS Pinpoint. Like how Y is just something random. Provider matching and Dreo, Amazon location service, nearby provider matching, distance calcs, async jobs, SQS, matching, notification fanout, payments, no in-house infra, webhook okay, so we're not going to be paying for in-house infra, webhook integration only against whichever license aggregator is chosen. Consistent with the existing, oh okay, I see. Consistent with the existing no escrow decision. Data residency split. This is the one deliberate exception to everything in Bahrain. Stays in Bahrain. These things stays in country. AWS outposts or an Egyptian co-location partner. Field level encrypted. ID documents collected for provider verification and exact home addresses. This isn't architectural purity. Man, you really don't have to be saying all of these things. This isn't architectural blah blah. Okay, resilience. Multi-AZ with Bahrain. It has 3. Sufficient for current scale. Cross-regional backup snapshots. Cross-region backup snapshots, maybe to UAE for DR. No multi-region active. I wonder why not backup in Egypt within the same what do you call it? Colo, or within again AWS outposts. So I mean, okay, this solves the problem iKhidma doesn't have yet and adds cost / complexity. Okay, this is no multi-region active. Okay, so we don't need active. Yes, that's correct. So one implementation or one, let's say, yeah, one build is gonna be the main, or let's say active for the app. Deliberately not doing microservices. Multi-agent. Okay. In fact, let us rewrite. Okay, let's do this.